text is entitled Fashion Bullies Attack in Middle School. This is an informational text which appeared in the Wall Street Journal on October 25th, 2007. It was written by a columnist named Vanessa O'Connell. Ariana McPike, a sixth grader from Springfield, Illinois, has a closet full of designer clothes from Dolce & Gabbana, Juicy Couture, True Religion, and Seven for All Mankind. But her wardrobe, carefully selected by a fashion-conscious mother, hasn't won her friends at school. Kids in her class recently instructed her that she was wearing the wrong brands. She should wear Apple Bottoms jeans by the rapper Nelly, they told her, and designer sneakers such as Air Force One by Nike. She came home complaining to her mother that all the girls want to know if I will ever come to school without being so dressed up. Teen and adolescent girls have long used fashion as a social weapon. In 1944, Eleanor Estes wrote The 100 Dresses, a book about a Polish girl who is made fun of for wearing the same shabby dress to school each day. The film Mean Girls in 2004 focused on fashion-conscious cliques among high school teens. But today, guidance counselors and psychologists say fashion bullying is reaching a new level of intensity as more designers launch collections targeted at kids. As a result, an increasing number of school and community programs focused on girl-on-girl bullying are addressing peer pressure and the sizable role clothing plays in girls' identity. In Pennsylvania, California, Maryland, and several other states, for instance, community groups and some schools have started Club or Camp Ophelia, a pair of programs developed by Penn State professor and author Cheryl De La Sega that teaches girls relationship skills. A bully quiz the girls take asks, have you stopped being friends with someone because she wore clothes you didn't like? Dorothy Espelage, a professor of educational psychology at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, who has studied teenage behavior for 14 years, says she has seen an increase in bullying related to clothes. She attributes that to the proliferation of designer brands and the display of labels in ads. In the more than 20 states where she has studied teens, she has been surprised by how kids revere those they perceive to have the best clothes. Having access to designer clothing affords some kids the opportunity to become popular, and that protects you and gives you social power and leverage over others, she says. Over the past 3 years, numerous designers have targeted the lucrative children's and teens markets. Little Mark, the kids' clothing label by New York designer Marc Jacobs, expanded its line this winter and dropped its price, making it more accessible to a greater number of shoppers. The French luxury label Chloe, Milan-based Missoni, and Italian designer Alberta Ferretti are launching new kids labels for spring or summer next year. Other designer kids lines include Dolce & Gabbana, Armani and Burberry, while Michael Kors, Coach, Dooney & Burke, and Dior have been targeting teens or kids with accessories. Retailers, too, have rushed to cash in, opening offshoots of their boutiques specifically for children. Cantaloupe and Scoop, which sell designer clothing for women in New York, now have Cantaloupe Kids and Scoop Kids boutiques that carry a similar selection of designers for their customers' daughters and sons. The greater focus on fashion in teen magazines and on TV has increased girls' awareness of designer labels. The market has become more sophisticated, says Fiona Coleman, children's trends editor for WGSN, a fashion consulting service. Kids today follow not only what celebrities wear, but also what their children wear, she says. Brooklyn Beckham, the son of soccer star David Beckham, was photographed wearing Junior Dolce and Gabbana in magazines as a toddler, propelling the brand into the limelight. Madonna's daughter, Lourdes Leon, who has her own stylist, has appeared in magazines wearing Juicy Couture tracksuits. School guidance counselor Angie Dooley sees the love of labels at Lawrence Junior High School in Fairfield, Maine, where some girls wear the same few brand name items they own again and again. They don't want anyone to know that's all they have, Ms. Dooley says. In one study, more than 1/3 of middle school students responded yes when asked whether they are bullied because of the clothes they wear. Susan M. Swearer, associate professor of school psychology at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln, surveyed a total of more than 1,000 students at 5 Midwestern middle schools from 1999 to 2004, with about 56% of the sample female. While the prevalence of fashion bullies was greater in wealthy cities and towns where more designer clothing is available, she found the problem is significant in poorer communities too. Teens and adolescents are expected to wear not just any designer brands, but the right ones. The better brands you wear, the more popular you are, says Becky Gilker, the 13-year-old 8th grader from Sherwood Park in the Canadian province of Alberta. If you don't wear those things, you get criticized. In many schools, the most expensive designer goods, such as those by Chanel or Louis Vuitton, have the highest social ranking among girls. But popular teen brands, such as American Eagle, Abercrombie and Finch, and Aeropostale, are also important. Ms. Gilker says Hollister and Roxy are big logos at her school. But even the wrong color can bring put-downs, Ms. Gilker notes. When she wears pink, she says, I get the snarky, nice clothes when people walk by in the halls. Her mom, Karen Gilker, who is 44, says she has tried to explain to her daughter that she should ignore such comments and wear what she likes. She also has tried explaining that pink looks wonderful on her. She's a blonde and she looks really good in it. Several new programs are trying to help parents, teachers, and girls cope with bullying. In Maine, a nonprofit called Hardy Girls, Healthy Women has developed a curriculum that has caught on at a number of junior high schools and is being adopted in after-school programs in Florida, Ohio, New York, and other states. The program encourages young girls to build coalitions and get them to look more closely at the messages they get from the media, including those about fashion and clothing. In June, a national conference on relational aggression, mean girls, and other forms of bullying in Las Vegas drew more than 800 teachers, educators, and counselors. Many of the sessions focused on the role the media plays in putting social pressure on girls regarding fashion and appearance. Susan Bowman, Vice President of Developmental Resources, a Chapin, South Carolina educational consulting firm that put on the conference, told the audience that for many girls, the answer to the question, what do I wear, seems to define who they are. In 2005, Developmental Resources began holding a series of Mean Girls workshops for educators around the country. The workshops, she says, explore why fashion is such an important part of a girl's identity and how that, in turn, creates even more social pressure on the have-nots. Some psychologists believe that fashion bullying is happening at younger and younger ages. Megan Flynn, Director of Children's Services at Westchester Jewish Community Services, says she has recently begun using an anti-bullying program with girls in the 5th and 6th grades, as well as with other students. The program, she says, provides a process where they can take a closer look at the messages they get in the media. Ariana's mom, Ava McPike, feels it is important that Ariana not be pressured to conform to the dressed down standard at her school. She believes that generally other people favor those who look good, the cute kids, says McPike, who drives to Neiman Marcus in St. Louis, Missouri, with her daughter to help pick out clothes. But Ms. McPike does give in every now and then. She recently bought 2 Ralph Lauren dresses in pink and green, and her daughter rejected them because, her mom suspects, they wouldn't pass muster with her classmates.